Can you all confirm you are able to view the screen now? Okay. Okay. Yep. So for today's session, demo 2, day 2, it's to just review our session 1 and then to see how we are going to plan whatever we discussed yesterday and how we are going to implement that with our certification training. Okay. So yesterday, as we discussed, a quick recap of yesterday's session. So we basically discussed like what is a project and how the project is implemented. Okay, so what are the various process groups and what are the key activities which are performed, and team was quite interactive in providing me these areas which we categorized into the actual knowledge areas, right? So this is all what is PMP. So with this project management professional training, it would help you all to understand how we execute these process groups of initiating the project till we complete and close the project through and manage these knowledge areas. Okay, so that is where the PMP supports. So how does our training, how is our training aligned to understand these process groups and the knowledge areas is what is this training plan which we will discuss today. Okay, so for that, let's try to understand what is the structure of PMP exam, and then we will go through how do we prepare for the PMP exam, what is the step-by-step plan for that, and what are the benefits of taking the course from ITeLearn. Okay, so quickly moving to that, what is the structure of PMP exam? So as we said in the initial webinar, and you also would have browsed, so PMP consists of 200 multiple choice questions. So you would have 4 choices. So yesterday we saw few sample questions and we saw that few are very straightforward, few are very tricky, few are a twist in the answer or in the question. So all these types mixed, it will be a 200 question which is a 4 hours duration, and in that 25 questions will not be included in scoring. So only 175 questions will be scored. In that 175 questions, for this 25, we really don't know which 25 questions are not scored. So we have to answer all the 25 questions, all the 200 questions, including the 25. Okay, so there's no negative marking, no penalty. You just lose a mark if it is wrong, and you gain the score. But when you look at your your end result, there is no such area, or it will not be represented as pass percentage stating 80% or 60%, or giving the number like 150 passed or 175 passed. So there is no percentage basis, but the way they say is in these process groups, in each of these process groups, they would say whether you were proficient or moderately proficient or below mark. Okay, so if you look at your PMP certification at the end of the course, and which will be sent to you by email, a hard copy. So you would see that these are the process groups, and they would say whether you are proficient or moderately proficient or below average. Okay, so there won't be any scoring on the number. So how does the questions come in the exam? So in each process group, as you see, the percent of questions are these. So as closing is a very small area with limited set of activities, so you see the percent of questions is also less. But does this mean that I can completely neglect closing? Or because planning is more, if I prepare for planning, will that be sufficient? Ideally, no. Ideally, you have to be thorough with all these areas, because PMP exam, whatever you are writing in and you are investing in, is not just for the certification what you will be holding in the hand, but you want to really increase your knowledge and reduce the gaps which you have in these areas. So that is what is the PMP certification exam would look for. It tries to assess you in each of the process groups and see that you are actually taking the course, or you are preparing the exam and you are getting the certification, which means that you are proficient in all these areas. So there is a combination of it. If let's say you are moderately proficient in the first 3 of them, okay, but you are proficient in monitoring and closing, so there is every opportunity that you are qualified for PMP. So we really don't know how they categorize that, but it is based on the number of questions you answered in each area, and there is a percentage that gets calculated by the PMP team, and you will get the result. Okay, so this is where you have to prepare each and every area. So in order to prepare for this process with the percent of questions, so how do we prepare for that? How do we prepare for PMP exam? So what are the common industry practices? There are so many PMP certified professionals and there are so many who are preparing. So what are the common practices which they follow? So the first one is attending the boot camp. So you have seen for all the certifications, there are boot camps which are provided by several training institutes and REPs. REPs are the registered providers, so enterprise providers who are qualified to provide the PMP training. So these trainings, each training has its own cost. So let's not get into the cost of the training, but this training would be quite intensive because it's a 4-day session. 4-day session which will be like ranging from for the whole day, 8 hours to 10 hours. And at the end, they say that people can give the exam of PMP. But this is preferable to all the project managers who have been in and out working as a project manager from a long time, and they really are preparing PMP from long time. So if such team members are there, then this is a preferred course, but it would be quite intensive to cover the areas. Okay. Now the second option is attending the online classes. So ITeLearn is also offering that. So we will provide the videos of each day. So similar courses are available from various training institutes. So how do we choose this? If you browse through, you would find n number of sites providing you the training classes. So you would have to browse through and look into the options. But now these training classes also, there are 2 ways now. The recorded sessions are provided by few classes, trainers, but most of the cases they just provide the presentations which are run through by some moderator. So they just walk through to the training PPT presentation or any kind of material they have prepared. So you have to be aware of the structure of the training which is provided. Okay, so it would be again self-study from your side, looking at the classes. Now what is the other way? So anyways we have to do the self-study. So why don't we do the self-study completely by browsing through or by preparing through the material which is available online. So this is quite tricky. It will help you, but if you're really managing the projects in each of the knowledge area and if you really know all the terms, I would prefer self-study only after you have taken some course, because I'm a PMP certified, and based on my experience I would say that self-study would help once you understand how to prepare for the course. What are the steps to prepare for the course? That will be provided by the training guide or a trainer. So use that methodology and apply that to your self-study, and then you can completely pass the PMP certification in your first attempt. So we have seen that people lose the first attempts because they consider that they cannot measure what they are preparing to. So they browse through the sites, they answer several sample questions, and we are not sure if the sample questions are proper, correct or not. And as per PMI code and ethics, we should not reveal the PMP questions. So whatever you look into are just the sample questions. Whatever you look into are samples of PMI questions, PMP questions. They are not the actual questions, but you would see similar questions appearing in the exam. Okay, so if not self-study, can we go for a group study? That's the next methodology. It is definitely preferable, and even the team members who are joining ITeLearn course, so the way we will move in, we will definitely want the team to interact between each other and do a group study. So for PMI organization, basically provides these groups. So there are groups in each location. There are PMP groups. So these groups basically come together. They try to run some projects. They try to help the new PMP members who want to take the course. So they try to provide the sessions which are again based on some cost. Okay, so that's one preferable area. The second is whoever are the same company members, or if your company is providing a training, or if you're taking a class training session, then all the team members would form as a group and they will start questioning themselves. They'll start doing a group study, and the group study which we have been doing for other trainings or other certifications which you are preparing is quite different. Here, as this is project management, everyone is facing different issues in different projects. So what is the way they have to react? What is the way which PMP is providing them? That is what can be discussed very easily in a group. So ITeLearn team, as we start our sessions, right now we cannot unmute you all, but as we are doing the sessions, it would be a complete interactive session and people can talk in between whenever we really want, whenever there are questions, and the whole team would be interacting and it would be a group study as well. Okay, so and when it comes to self-study or group study or any kind of training, what is the basis of it? For everything, the basis of this exam is PMBOK guide. Okay, so PMP exam is based on PMBOK. Right now the edition is fifth edition, which was released last year. So the PMI or institute, the Project Management Institute, which is providing this PMP exam, will release this book. So how do we get this book? This will be provided only for the PMI registered member. Okay, so this copy cannot be shared. Even I have a copy, but I cannot share this with anyone because it's just copyrighted to me. Okay, so where do we get this PMBOK? As you register for your exam, they will send you a copy for yourself, which should not be shared. Okay, so this is only specific copy for you. So people who read this book, people have to definitely browse through the book, because that provides this process groups and the knowledge areas. But just to walk you through, the book is quite intensive and it is very point to point. So if you try to relate that to your real-time instances, it would be a bit hard. So the preferred method of going through book is first have the training session, or take your training classes online or a boot camp or whatever the way is, and then you need to definitely go through the PMBOK guide. Okay, because whatever questions you would see in the PMI, the PMP exam is from this book. Okay, all the definitions, everything is from the PMBOK guide. Okay, but just reading through the book will definitely not give you any idea. Even to solve the questions also, it will be very high level. As you register for the PMP, you would, once you receive the copy, you would understand that it's on a very high level. Okay, so these are all on the classes and study. Let's say you did the classes, you completed, or you're doing the group study, you have read through PMBOK. So the next step would be taking few sample exams. So there are several free sample questions available online, but how many do you have to take? Are these questions, are the answers valid? That is not reliable. Okay, so we cannot say if the question and answers are reliable. There are few reliable websites which we will provide you once we start our sessions, from where you can take the live exams or mock exams. Okay, so you can run through the timer, because it's like 200 questions in 4 hours. So you can take the exams, actual exams, like there will be a timer which is running in. So these exam simulators would actually run through like a actual PMP exam. So there will be a timer running in, so you can use that and run through it. Okay, so this would be your last step after deciding your study plan, after deciding your structure of your training, and after you complete that and you consider that yes, I am 80% confident, then only go for your exam simulators. Because if you're not going to answer most of it, then you might lose your confidence, or you will not know from where the questions are coming in, and your knowledge areas might lose the grip which you have been gaining from your training sessions. Okay, so when we are doing our sessions, we would let you all know, so what is the stage at which you can start taking your actual mock exams or live exams from various reliable sites. Okay, and as we say, as we prepare, you might have written so many other certifications. So for that, you might whatever calculations are there. So there are a lot of calculations involved. It is not just a dry subject. There are a lot of questions only based on few simple formulae, and there are few simple I would say calculations which you have to do, which doesn't need much of the calculator or something. So when you're writing the exam, they would provide a mini calculator on the screen from where you can calculate that values. So all these formulae and all the important points, whatever you have to do, whatever you have to read every day, those important formulae and rules and all the points which you consider are required or will turn into a question, people try to mark them and prepare their own notes, which are termed brain dumps or mind maps and flashcards. So brain dump is basically your notes. So if you are doing a group study, then you can share your notes and you can find several notes online. But do not touch those online notes unless you complete your complete training and you really understand each and every process group with their knowledge areas. Because the brain dump is a combination of everything. So they can put one point from the very initial session and they can put a second point from the end session. So whatever they consider is important, people try to put in terms of their notes, which is available as brain dumps. So when we are preparing as well, we will prepare such brain dumps and we will try to share within the team who is part of this training session. Okay, so what is flashcard? This is the common method, if you see, is used for most of the US training sessions. So flashcards are basically, you have your question and you are putting your answer at the back of the card or to the side of the card, and you try to just use a simple card. Like, let's say you have your Excel, so you try to just put your question here. Okay, what are the process groups? Okay, and then you put your answers on the same page in the next slide. You can just cut these flashcards, take the prints of these flashcards and cut them as two pieces. So let's say you're providing your answer here, initiation, planning, then executing, monitor and control, and then you say closing. So this is one flashcard, let's suppose. So what you just take the printouts of this and then you cut it in between and then or fold it so that you just read your question and you try to answer by yourself. So that's a simple flashcard. So we can prepare all your required points into flashcards because there is a lot of information which you have to remember in terms of writing through. So we have seen yesterday a sample question which was very straightforward. How many process groups are there? How many knowledge areas are there? What are the knowledge areas? Let's say put the process groups in order. What is a project? So these are very straightforward questions. So for all these, you can prepare the flashcards, and whenever you have time, you can go through them. So people even do, like when they are moving in their car, they try to record all these points, and as they move in the car, they try to listen to their own prepared brain dumps through recorded sessions. So even the training sessions, the trainer, whatever is speaking in, so A lot of people, when they're moving in the car and when they're reaching their office locations, they try to listen to them as brain dumps and flashcards. Okay, so all these methods are after joining the classes, and then you're giving your exam simulators or you're preparing your brain dumps. And the last step to make sure that you are understanding or you're getting new questions or you want to get some answers to. Okay, let's say you're trying to resolve a question which is there online or which is provided by ITeLearn, but you are not sure of the answer. Then there are a lot of blogs available. Okay, there are forums available who could answer that. ITeLearn team anyways is providing you the tech-based forum support to answer your queries, answer your questions. But if you still want to make sure, or if you have some other questions, then you can join several blogs and forums. And as I said, PMI's group studies. So they are the local chapters. They are termed as local chapters. So they are also available, but if you have to join the local chapters, you would have to pay for that. So they will also provide you full support on real-time execution of the project and how it will be used in understanding the PMP course related information. Okay, and how you can answer your various questions. Okay, so these are all common practices. There are several practices, but how do I follow this? There is a need of step-to-step guide, right? And there is a need of project plan. As you are going to be a project management professional who is going to manage all those areas, so the first step for that is preparing the project plan. So that means that you should apply the same thing. So preparing for the project management professional and writing the exam itself, getting your project management certificate into your hands itself represents a project. So in order to complete that project, right, you definitely need a project plan. And as we are preparing through our sessions, we would take that as a basis of our training, and we would see how do we initiate your training plan, how do we execute the training plan, how do you monitor and control, and how do you close. Your closing should result into getting your PMP certification. So that project would be our emphasis for this training. Okay, so if that is the emphasis, what is the steps we are suggesting? How do we want to approach our training? So this training session, the first step which we would see is validating your PMP eligibility criteria. So as we explained in the webinar, in the first webinar, if you have a bachelor's degree or any other global bachelor's degree, then you would need at least 3 years of project management professional experience, which is non-overlapping. So what is non-overlapping is basically you are working in multiple projects currently, so you cannot combine that. You can just choose one project at a time. Okay, at that time, for that 6 months or 3 months, whatever you're laying out, that should be unique single project. Okay, even if you're working on other projects at the same time, you cannot write that. It is not eligible for PMP. Okay, and if you have a secondary degree, then the criteria would be 5 years. Okay, so when you are actually filling out your form, you have to mention the time period, and for each of the process group, so whatever are these process groups, right, you have to fill your timings. So you have to say for initiation, for all these process groups, you have to fill in your number of hours. Let's say it is a 1,000-hour project where you have invested your 1,000 hours. Then you have to say what was initiation, what was planning, and how much time it took for execution, and monitor and close. Okay, so that is the way the PMP form will be filled in. Definitely we will provide the full support from ITeLearn team in validating your eligibility criteria and also in filling the form. Okay, so we'll get to that once we start our live sessions. And apart from this professional experience, we also need a 35 contact hours from a represented institute. So if your company is providing that, there are several companies which do provide this formal education training in their own companies. And if your company is not providing that, then you would have to take the session. You would have to take the training from an external REP. Okay, so we would look that into as step 3. But before that, once your eligibility criteria is determined and you are eligible for PMP and you are interested in the course, then the ITeLearn training session, once you register with us, so we are planning to have a 40-hour live sessions. So it would start next week, and if you register for that, once you register, you would receive the details of the training, the timings, and every aspect of it. And in this training session, the focus would be, we would have a 30-minute session to understand the topic. I would provide that through Excel the way we did it yesterday, and then solving questions. So the next 15 to 30 minutes would be basically solving the tricky questions. Okay, so we will have very interactive session where every one of you can talk, and we will do it as a group, and then when you're solving questions, you can provide your answers and we can discuss through the answers, which is most important. Why the option is correct. If you understand that, you will be able to answer many more questions. Okay, so that will be the focus in the day-to-day session. And once you complete the session, there will be a mock test available for you. So it will range between, it can range for each day, or after we complete the topic, you can either take it the same day or after we complete the complete topic, one knowledge area or one process group, whatever way it suits you. It will be available online, and we will see a sample. I will provide you the link of the sample as we end the session. Okay, how the mock test looks like. So these will be the real-time questions, sample questions, and remember, they are not the PMP exam actual questions. They are just sample questions, but they will range from each and every topic which we will discuss. Okay, it will cover all the aspects, and it would be a wide range of questions per each day. So suggested is take the exam on the same day, but if you prepare whatever we have learned through, and you prepare and read through something, and then if you take the exam, that's most preferable. Okay, and as we complete our sessions, live sessions, we'll provide you a 200 questions live test which you can run through and take the exam based on your preparation. As you prepare through, and if you need additional preparation, you can just wait through and take your exam as you're completely satisfied. Whenever you consider that you are 80% prepared. Okay, and that will definitely help you. So that will, if you don't prepare yourself and you're taking the exam, then it will never show you which knowledge area you have a gap. So you have to take this live 200 question test only if you consider that you're prepared 80% and you're sure that you know most of the topics, at least a minimum, say. Okay, and these video sessions, whatever we talk and whatever I'm training in, these sessions will be available as you register, and you can view the sessions as based on your subscriptions at any time. And as we said, you have your forum support, and I and the team will be providing you the complete support in answering any of your queries in between. Okay, so what kind of training material we are going to provide you? So basically, the way I'll be doing the training would be in the Excel, wherein we will just walk through everything. So we'll provide this for you, and then at the end of the session, we would just run through the slides. These slides are high-level slides to understand what we have learned for the day. Okay, so we'll provide this complete set of presentations to you, and then you have with the videos, and then preparing the brain dumps, preparing the flashcards, and we will share that in between teams. Okay, so, and the questions, as I said, each presentation at the end of the session would have the sample questions which we will solve in the session, and then you have your mock tests and live tests. Okay, so that's pretty much, you will get all the training material which is available by any other institute, or even if you browse through. So you might miss, the flashcards might not be there, or you might not have the training videos. So this is combination of all the best practices of training, various other trainings. Okay, so as you complete your training from ITeLearn, then you would have to get these 35 contact hours, right? So now you should be pretty confident in taking the exam. So as you complete the training and you have prepared your 200 questions, you have taken the exam, there will be small gaps if you consider, so you can still read through your flashcards and brain dumps, and to complete and take your exam, you need this 35 contact hours. So we'll provide you the REPs which provide this, and there are few e-learning courses which will, with the samples which are listed here. So you can go through the sites and take this online training, which is basically would be like a repetition to what we did in the live sessions. So as these are online courses, as I said, there will not be any moderator, there will not be any trainer available, or in few cases there might be trainers available. If there are trainers available, then they would cost you more. But if you're taking just the online learning sessions, that would be more a material, presentations, which you have to run through, and that would become like a second step of preparation. So your first step was live. Now your second step is you are running through the same material again, which would make you much more confident. So in order to find these online trainings, you can just Google out for PMP certification online trainings. So as you join through our live sessions, I will provide you the information of which learning courses are currently in market, and which will provide you good training material, and you can choose it by yourself. Okay, so once you have these contact hours, so in order to understand what is your knowledge area gaps, or where you consider that you're not prepared well, so for that we recommend that you take the exams again. Okay, so any kind of enrollment to online exams which are provided. So right now you did like 2-step preparation, right? Now this step would provide you the gaps which you have to prepare, so that if you are on an 80 to 90% level, now you would become 95 to 98, or there is every possibility of 100%. We have seen people getting the proficient, the highest level in all the 5 process groups. Okay, and we have seen that same resources, same people have actually failed their first attempt. But in the second attempt, they scored proficient in all the 5 areas. So what is needed for that is taking the exams, as many as you can, but that step should be done only after you prepare yourself thoroughly by taking the training classes, by understanding how the structure of exam is and how many areas are, what areas to be concentrated, all that which is provided by a trainer. Okay, so as you understand your gap, once you write these exams, then you definitely have to concentrate on your weak areas. So you have to do a self-study for that. Okay. For the self-study phase, basically, we will whatever the training plan which ITeLearn team is going to provide, you can use the same plan. Okay, you can use the same plan and you can complete your self-study. Okay, so once you complete your self-study and now you are able to take the exam, so filling up the PMP application form would be your last step to complete this PMP project. Okay, so for filling up the PMP application form, as I said, we have to walk through that, which we will do in your live sessions, and there is detailed instructions which is provided in PMI handbook, which is available from PMI Institute. So if you search for PMI handbook, it will provide you the complete information how to fill it. But definitely we will completely walk through as part of our training session to how to fill this form. Okay, and we can validate the form as well if required. There are few audits which PMI does on few applications, which is very random. Okay, and even after you hold your PMP certification, in between also, if they want to, they can still do an audit, and if they find any discrepancies in what is being projected, there are every chances that they can cancel the PMP exam certification. Okay, so we have to provide the real-time experience which you have, and we will go through that filling form in our live sessions. Okay, and as we move to these steps, right, so what are the benefits you will get from our course, from the ITeLearn course? So as I said, the first one is the instructor-led step 1 training. So as an instructor for this session, I'm a PMP certified trainer and I've been training a lot of other groups. So my methodology, as you have seen, is more realistic, and I will guide you through the real-time examples. Okay, so and the training process, as I said, is a 3-step process. So we are saying the instructor-led training first, and then you go through an online training, which is just reading through the material which is provided by the REP provider, and then we will suggest you a complete self-study plan, which is nothing but our training plan. With, you can say it is a complete project plan wherein you can fit your own dates, which we will follow in our 40 hours live sessions. Okay, and as we are solving questions every day, we are going through why and what of the questions. It's not just answering A, B, C, D, just choosing a multiple choice. We have to deep dive through each question and see why this option is correct, because PMP questions are very tricky and each of the answers looks similar. Okay, so our sessions would be very interactive. We will have complete interactive sessions wherein people are not unmuted. We are talking to each other, and we will walk through the session like we are doing it in a live room. Okay, so these are the benefits you would get from taking the course from us, and hope that we are hoping that you would all would certify the PMP after taking the course from ITeLearn. Okay, so before we move on to the questions, I would provide you the link of sample questions. Okay, so we have that in the ITeLearn.com. if you go there, so we have the interview questions. In the interview questions, you have the project management professional questions. Okay, so I'm going to paste this link here in the chat. So as you complete today's session, please go through these questions, okay, the sample questions, so that you can analyze yourself to see if the PMP exam questions you're able to answer in, or what is the kind of training you would require. So all that, these are few sample questions to answer in. Okay, so please go through these questions and try to answer, and you would have your answers right away as you start taking your exam. Okay, so now I'm open to the questions. So if you can just type in your questions, I will answer them all. Okay, 35 contact hours. Yes, yes, Imtiaz. So right now we have started the training sessions. So we are not providing a registered 35 contact hours. But as I said, our training session is a live session, and the 35 contact hours PDUs, which are provided by the REPs. So we'll provide you a simple, less cost and less cost and the more reliable sessions which you can go through with other REPs. Okay. What is the cost of your training? So the cost and the details of the sessions and the timings, everything would be provided in the site, and we would send you emails, so you will have the full detailed information of that. Trying to estimate the total cost. Okay, so for the total cost, right, for the training sessions, for the ITeLearn, so as we said, it is 3 steps. So the step 1 for the ITeLearn, the cost we will provide, and these online courses, they would range from $50 to $75. Okay, or the max $100 if it is more reliable site. So you can choose through, we will provide you the details of various REPs which are available, but as the cost is very less for that, the boot camps, they range from $1,500 to $2,500. But these online courses, they are just presentations or materials which they will provide in that session, which you have to just go through for 35 hours. So you have to be live on their systems for 35 hours, reading through that material, and you can take an exam, and it will also provide you support to take live exams with them as well. So that step 2 will increase your confidence. So even if you are investing that 50 to 75, so that's the reason, one of the reasons probably our training sessions would be of less cost, because you have to have the step 2, but we are giving you the benefit that you will have 2 steps of preparation. Okay, and then the PMP exam itself, it costs around $450. Actually it is $550, but if you are a PMI member, it is like $4 or $5. So that total cost, if you are going from ITeLearn, then it would cost around $1,000 or $1,200. So we range it from $1,000 to $1,200, and per industry it ranges from $3,000 to $4,000. And as we see, there are a lot of companies which do provide you, reimburse you for your training costs, so that way you can compensate your total costs. Okay, so course fee, again, as we said, we would provide you the full information of the course and the fee in email, and we would post that in the website. Okay, looks good. So any other questions? Okay, hope I have answered all your questions. The session is recorded, so we would provide the videos available for these demo sessions in the online website, and please go through this quiz and try to answer and try to see how PMP questions looks like, and I'm hoping that we will all meet again in the live sessions. Okay, thanks everyone for joining the sessions, and hope I'm able to convey the training structure and the course which we are going to use, and you would definitely be interested to join in the live sessions and become a project management professional. Okay, thanks everyone.